So are you fascinated by a career that kind of sits right at the crossroads of cutting-edge tech and the complexities of law?
Yeah, it's a field that often gets, I think, misunderstood.
Yeah.
People hear patent engineering and they sort of jump to like visions of legal jargon and just mountains of paperwork.
Right.
And while that's certainly a part of it, there's a real thrill that comes with protecting those aha moments of innovation. It's about being at the intersection of intellectual property law and those real-world technological advancements.
It's almost like you're kind of a guardian of those light bulb moments, or like
Technically.
those breakthroughs that shape industries.
Absolutely.
So today we're taking a deep dive into the world of patent engineering to see if it might be the right fit for you. We've got some really interesting excerpts from RoleCatcher, a career development platform that we're going to be digging into. We'll be looking at their complete career guide for patent engineers, their insights on interview prep, and even how using their platform can give you a real leg up in the job hunt.
Great stuff.
Okay, so let's unpack this. RoleCatcher jumps right into, the core tasks of a patent engineer. And it's not just like knowing the law, right?
Right.
It's about analyzing inventions, really getting into the nitty-gritty of them to figure out if they can even be patented. It's about making sure those patent rights are ironclad,
Yeah.
navigating the legal world to protect a company's intellectual property.
It's like imagine being a detective and a lawyer all rolled into one, right? You're not just looking at blueprints and designs. You're really understanding the potential impact of these inventions, how they could shake things up in the market. You're bridging that gap between inventors who speak tech and CEOs who, speak the language of business.
It's fascinating, actually, when you think about it that way. And that kind of leads us to, I think, the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
Is this you we're talking about? Is this career path the right fit? And RoleCatcher, I have to say, they don't shy away from laying out both the pros and the cons. On one hand, you have the potential for a high-paying, intellectually stimulating career. I mean, you're working with groundbreaking technology.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, you're dealing with long hours and intense pressure. It comes with the territory.
It definitely comes with the territory, and
Yeah.
it's a fast-paced environment that really requires a certain kind of person to thrive. Someone who, genuinely loves to dig into those complex details, who gets energized by the challenge of having to stay ahead of the curve in a field that is constantly evolving at, a breakneck speed.
Yeah.
These are key questions to ask yourself, I think, before jumping in headfirst.
Absolutely. Those are things to really reflect on. Are you someone who thrives under pressure? Do you embrace continuous learning?
Yeah.
Those are really important. And speaking of embracing a challenge, let's talk about what it actually takes to climb that career ladder, right?
Okay.
To go from, I don't know, a newbie patent engineer to a seasoned pro. RoleCatcher does a really good job of outlining that journey.
They do.
And it seems like a path that's paved with continuous learning and a lot of specialization.
And rightly so. Technology is not waiting for anyone.
No.
A patent engineer needs to be constantly evolving, soaking up new information, like a sponge, really. And they even mention, the guide does, certifications like becoming a registered patent agent or a certified licensing professional, which can really, boost your credibility and expertise in such a competitive field.
So it's like leveling up, right? Like in a video game.
Yeah.
You gain new skills, you gain new credentials, and that allows you to take on even bigger challenges, more complex cases.
Absolutely.
So imagine this. You start, maybe by supporting those senior engineers, doing research on emerging technologies, and then as you get more experience, you move on to actually drafting patent applications.
Right.
You're piecing together like the legal jigsaw puzzle that protects these innovations. And eventually, you might find yourself managing entire portfolios of patents, advising at, the highest levels of a company, really shaping the entire landscape of intellectual property.
Yeah, it's an incredible trajectory if if you're cut out for it.
Absolutely. It's pretty amazing to think about that journey, that whole trajectory. But maybe we should shift gears a little bit and talk about, like, the day-to-day reality, right? Like, what's it actually like to be a patent engineer? RoleCatcher does, I think, a pretty cool job of painting that picture of the work environment. It seems really dynamic, always buzzing with activity.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you're talking, law firms that specialize in intellectual property, R&D departments at these huge tech companies, government agencies that are, regulating innovation. The options are, they're surprisingly diverse. And of course, with the rise of like independent consulting, you could even end up working with a whole range of different clients, kind of like on a project basis.
So it's not like a one-size-fits-all kind of career path.
Right, exactly.
But one thing that RoleCatcher does emphasize, and I think this is important to highlight, is that the work is demanding.
Yeah.
You know, tight deadlines, multiple cases going at the same time, the constant pressure to, deliver results. It's not for the faint of heart.
It's not. It's about being able to juggle these like really complex legal concepts, right? But at the same time, you got to have this deep understanding of technologies that are changing so fast.
Right.
So, one day you might be like knee deep in lines of code, and then the next day you're giving a presentation about patent strategy to like a room full of executives.
Oh, why?
So yeah, being able to communicate effectively to kind of like translate between the tech jargon and the business lingo, that's really crucial.
Yeah, being able to bridge that gap is huge. And that actually makes me think of something else that RoleCatcher really highlights, which is the importance of soft skills, even in this really technical field.
Oh, absolutely.
So, of course, you need that solid understanding of patent law. You got to have that knack for, dissecting these technical details. But they also really emphasize communication, negotiation, even creativity when it comes to like navigating this really complex world.
Yeah, and it makes sense when you think about it, right? You're that bridge between the brilliant minds who are coming up with these inventions and then the decision makers who are, the ones who are ultimately going to be responsible for making those inventions a reality, for bringing them to market. So you have to be fluent in both languages. You're advocating for the protection of this intellectual property, but you also have to understand, like, the business side of things, the realities of the marketplace.
It's almost like you're a translator for innovation in a way, right? You're helping to make sure that these groundbreaking ideas, they're not just protected, but they also have the potential to actually make it to thrive in the market.
Yeah.
And speaking of innovation, RoleCatcher gets into some really interesting emerging technologies that are really starting to like reshape the landscape of patent engineering.
For sure. We're talking about, things like artificial intelligence, biotechnology, even blockchain. And these aren't just buzzwords, These are technologies that are actually like revolutionizing industries right now as we speak. And with this huge wave of disruption, you see this surge in new inventions and of course new legal challenges. It's a whole new playing field for patent engineers.
It's exciting, but I imagine it's also a little bit daunting.
Yeah.
To be like at the forefront, right, of protecting intellectual property that could like potentially shape the future. That's pretty credible when you actually think about it.
Yeah. And I think that's exactly what makes this career path so compelling. You're right there at the forefront of innovation and you're playing this like really pivotal role in actually shaping the future. But at the same time, you got to be realistic, right? About the preparation and the dedication it takes to actually make it in this field. And that's where I think resources like RoleCatcher are so valuable. They give you, real insights, real guidance if you're serious about pursuing this path.
Yeah, they go way beyond just like providing information, don't they? I mean, it's more about giving you the tools to actually take control of your career journey.
Exactly.
Like they guide you on how to create a CV that really stands out, that captures both like your technical skills and, your legal knowledge. They give you insights into the specific skills and qualifications that employers are actually looking for, not just like general advice. They even have a whole section on like salary expectations, which I think is super helpful to know upfront.
It is. And I think, rather than just telling you what to do, they're really showing you how to do it. Like they really dig into the nuances of different interview formats,
right?
From like technical assessments to behavioral questions, and they really give you the tools and strategies to make a good impression.
It really is, I guess, like having a secret weapon, right, in your back pocket when you're out there job hunting, especially in a field as competitive as this one. But okay, so before you even get to the interview, you need to know how to get there. Like, what's the actual academic path that leads to this career?
Yeah.
What are some of the key things that, like, aspiring patent engineers should really be focusing on during their education?
Well, RoleCatcher's Guide, they really stress that a multidisciplinary approach is like essential. And it's not just about law, although a really solid foundation in intellectual property law, that's obviously critical.
Right.
We're also talking about those hard sciences, right? Engineering disciplines, things like, computer science, mechanical engineering, biotechnology, even pharmaceuticals. The possibilities are, they're vast. And like we were saying earlier, they're changing all the time.
So like someone who loves, I don't know, tinkering with electronics in their garage, but also like geeks out on legal thrillers, they might actually be on the right track.
Totally. Yeah, it's that intersection of like technical know-how and that legal understanding. That's what makes this field so unique. RoleCatcher even talks about how there's this like growing demand for patent engineers who have really specialized knowledge in areas like AI, clean energy, nanotechnology, all that really cool stuff. So yeah, if you're like passionate about a specific area of tech, diving deep into that could give you a real leg up in the job market.
I love that. It's so cool how this career path really does bridge like those two worlds. But okay, let's be real for a second, right? Thinking about navigating like all the legal stuff in patent law while also having to stay ahead of the curve in all these tech fields that are changing so fast, it can feel a little overwhelming, maybe even a bit intimidating.
Oh, for sure. It can feel like a lot. And that's actually why RoleCatcher really they emphasize how important continuous learning is in this field. And they make the point that it's not just about the degrees you earn, it's about like making a commitment to always be learning throughout your whole career.
Yeah.
They even break down like specific certifications you can get.
Oh, right, like becoming a registered patent agent. Right.
Exactly. And they emphasize that those certifications, they aren't just, pieces of paper. They're actually proof that you have the expertise, which can make a huge difference when you're competing for jobs.
Yeah, it's like almost like collecting badges of honor, I guess, in the world of intellectual property.
Yeah,
Right?
kind of.
But okay, so we've talked about like the technical side, the legal stuff, but RoleCatcher also spends a lot of time on something that I think sometimes gets overlooked.
Mm.
They talk about the human element of this field.
Yeah, for sure.
Like they have a whole section on how to like ace those interviews, which let's be honest, they can be nerve-wracking.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's full of really, really helpful advice that's tailored for patent engineers, not just, general interview tips.
Totally. And it's not just your typical interview advice. Like they really get that this field, it requires this unique blend of, being really good with the technical stuff, knowing the legal side, and then also having those communication skills to like tie it all together.
Right, right.
They even have a whole section on crafting your personal brand as a patent engineer, which I think is really interesting.
Okay, yeah, that is interesting. What does that even mean? To like create a personal brand in this field. It's not like you're, out there promoting a product or something, right?
Right. And that's what makes it so interesting. It's about showing like your passion for both sides of this field.
Yeah.
The legal stuff and the tech. It's about being able to talk about, not just like that you understand patent law, but that you're also really fascinated by like how inventions actually work, what kind of impact they could have.
So it's about like telling your story.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And connecting like your passion for technology with, I don't know, your desire to protect and support innovation through the power of law.
Exactly. They even give you like practical tips, like how to use LinkedIn and stuff to connect with people in the industry, going to events, even like positioning yourself as a thought leader. It's about being proactive.
Yeah.
Going beyond just, what's on your resume.
Right. Showing that you're not just like looking for any job, that you're really invested in this whole world.
Absolutely. And I think that's what's so great about RoleCatcher's approach. They get that, a career in patent engineering, it's not for everybody. And they're upfront about that.
Right.
It's a lot of work, long hours. You have to really dedicate yourself to it and always be eager to learn new things. But for those people who are really drawn to a challenge, who really thrive on being right there where law and innovation meet, it can be an incredibly rewarding career.
It's about finding that sweet spot, right? Where you can dig into those technical details, but also understand all the legal nuances. And you have that drive to keep learning in a field that's constantly evolving. And then on top of all that, being able to explain these really complex ideas to all sorts of different people.
It's a lot.
It is.
Yeah.
But I think clearly, for the right person, it can be incredibly stimulating, intellectually, financially rewarding, and you can have a real impact.
Absolutely. And having spent years in this field myself, I can honestly say those aha moments, the ones where you see an invention, something groundbreaking really come to life, and knowing you played a role in making sure it was protected.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That's what makes it all worthwhile.
Yes, exactly.
So to everyone listening out there, if you're feeling that like little spark, that little tug towards this kind of career, a career that brings together those technical skills and that legal strategy, go for it. Explore the world of patent engineering. And who knows, maybe you'll be the one drafting the patents for the next big thing, the inventions that change everything. This has been our deep dive into the world of patent engineering, and we hope you found it insightful and that you're feeling inspired to go out there and continue your own journey of discovery. Until next time, keep those innovative spirits high, and remember, the future is waiting to be invented.